Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're talking about the inevitable. We're going to lose money, power, wealth, unless you do something about it. The stats, as I've told people before, the top 10% of the wealthiest own 89% of the stock market. That was from 2022. We are 2 years later, and there's a new number. The top 10%, are they going to own more or are they going to own less? Let me know what you guys think about this. Stay tuned for the answer, and welcome. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, please share the videos. There's people out here sleepwalking. They don't realize what is going on behind the scenes. They're living paycheck to paycheck. 70% of the population in the United States lives paycheck to paycheck. They are working hard. One job, two jobs, three jobs. It does not matter, trying to survive. There's a reason you're trying to survive, because you're playing one of the games you need to play. But the second part is any extra money you need to be buying stocks, wealthy items, real estate, where you get a return on investment, not a house. You need to buy everything that can give you a return on investment. And now we're about to talk about the top 10%. Make sure you share this video. This is very, very important. Rome was not built in a day, but Rome sure collapsed under its own weight. That's where we're at now, ladies and gentlemen. 3 years. That's it. The upper middle class is about to be wiped out in 3 years. I'm going to tell you why. But first, let's go over to the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page, shall we? Because what else? I always have to promote a few of our members, courtesy of YouTube, showing them over here on the right-hand side. Members of the channel help support the channel a little bit. There's a join button over here on the right-hand side. What do you get? A few things. Under the community tab, you receive 1 or 2 videos specifically for you. You also now are able to see, as a member of the channel, the videos that I load. Members of the channel see like an hour or 2 before everybody else. That happens. Also, on Wednesday night, live streams. Only members, which have the icon next to their name, are the only ones that can be in the chat room on Wednesday nights. Everybody can watch, but only members can be in the chat room. On our other live streams, everybody can be in the chat room, and only members who receive a link under the community tab can be on any live stream that I do and come in and discuss anything they want to discuss. Hopefully that's a little something. And you also have special emojis. And once you're a member for a year, then you receive SSN Nation gear. All right? Just so you know. Now, let's get into what I've been talking about for the last 5 years. Here's the new numbers. The rich now own a record share of stocks. So that stimulus money that was given out, the PPP loans, all of this money, the tax cuts, tax breaks. You know what the rich were doing with their tax cuts that they received? That $7.8 trillion worth of tax cuts? Part of that went to the rich. The majority of it went to the rich. What do you think they were doing, ladies and gentlemen? Just what I was telling you they were doing. They were out here buying businesses. Not starting, buying businesses and buying more stocks. You were getting your little measly $1,200, $1,500, $1,000 stimulus checks. These people were out here getting PPP loans that were forgiven. These guys were out here getting tax cuts and tax breaks so they pay less in taxes and could deploy that money into the stock market. So you know it went up. They have more money than the rest of us. The top 10% have more money than all the rest of us. Now, what you guys aren't understanding, hopefully this chart right here, percentage of U.S. household equity and mutual fund shares owned by the wealthiest 10%. Look at this. Do you see this? 92.5%. Previously, if you're not a member of the channel, haven't been around for a few years, the top 10%, as I started out this video, used to own 89% of the stock market. Look at this here. After 2020, notice this incredible jump. This is crazy. 93% as expected. This has happened. Why it matters. This stat, first spotted in the FT, is a crucial bit of context to keep in mind. Amid the heavily hyped surge of smaller retail investors, remember the hype when you were getting that stimulus money, people were buying their stocks? Or were they? They apparently were not. But once again, details. While it's true that a record high 58% of American households do own stocks, this is beautiful, right? You would think that you would have, bitten into that 89% number. Little do you know that they now have 4% more control of the overall stock market, and you guys are wondering why the stock market matters. This is so the rich can stay rich. Who do you think the Federal Reserve works for? All right, now let's get pretty big, the big picture. Despite the trauma of the last few years, the collapse of stocks in the early days of the pandemic, and the brutal bear market brought on by the Fed rate hikes over the last couple of years, the stock market has soared over the long term. Look at this. In the last 10 years, 155% on the S&P 500. And tech-heavy NASDAQ, 250%. So when we talked about those VOO, the VOOG, the VTIs, the SCHDs as ETFs, some people were like, what are they talking about? The QQQ, all these type of things. You are investing in a index fund, whether it's what they're saying here, the S&P 500, or the NASDAQ, or the Dow Jones. Again, you don't mind 155% gains or 250% gains, do you? All right, between the lines, while bullish surges like those are welcome to pretty much all investors, the fact is that the majority of gains go to the richest stockholders. There's a reason. All right, there's a reason. So we're going to end this. This is going to be real short. I just wanted to prove what I've been telling people. The upper middle class, you're next. You're about to be wiped out if you are not deploying your liabilities and changing them into assets. Now, let's get things straight how this works. I talk about it on live streams. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have conversations to help you improve your life financially. Now, what do we talk about? It's a simple mathematical game. I'm going to start this off very simply. If I have $100,000 and one of you has $1 million, and I take 10% of my 100,000, I put $10,000 into the stock market, it does not matter. Why don't we just use the 250%, 2.5 times your money on the NASDAQ over the last 10 years? So let's just say we both put $10,000. I put 10% of what my wealth is, 100,000, and I put $10,000 in. The other guy, that's you, who has $1 million, you use 10% of your money, but that 10% is 100,000. You can already see the problem. Even though we both have it in the ETF NASDAQ and we both get 250%, all I have is an additional $25,000. What you have, because you put in 100,000, you have an additional $250,000. So I can't keep up with you. This is why the wealthy are going to control the stock market even more. And this is why, even though the record high for us ordinary citizens, the OCs, for just the remaining 7%, which is a new record of 58% of new OCs. Even though that is markedly higher, it still does not put a dent, because how many of us OCs who have put in the 10,000 combined 10 times that number is 100,000? You see what I'm saying? So we have to have more people than what the rich need to make the same amount of money, except we don't have more people. That's why you have to figure out different ways. That means you have to buy into a business as an asset. That means you have to maybe buy some multifamily real estate property as an asset. You have to supplement it. These guys are making hand over fist, and we can't catch up. Again, you're going to have to make $200,000 or more household income in 3 years. There's no way around it. Get started today. Down below in the description box, make sure you go and get your free shares of stock from Robinhood and Webull if you have not downloaded those apps just yet. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, down below in the description box, on podcast platforms, on YouTube channel, you will see ways to get in touch with our social media, because I do post other things besides just videos. All right? So, information, things that can help people start businesses, little memes and stuff like that. So make sure you go down to the bottom and don't forget to sign up for our WhatsApp group. That's always helpful. Join the party. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, and it's about to get a lot harder. Make sure you have your duffel bag of cash. Make sure you have some dividend stocks. Make sure you have invested in some of the NASDAQ, the S&P, Dow Jones, maybe even the Russell 2000 indexes. Make sure you are buying a business, not starting. Starting is high risk. Buy into a business like you're on Shark Tank, which is already making money. That's why they always ask, how much money do you make? Because if it's not making any money, it's high risk. Higher risk, I'll put it that way. Business is high risk in itself. But if it's not generating revenue, that means it's operating at zero or a loss. Why would you want to invest in that? You wouldn't. You would only invest in a company that has profit coming in, right? That's what you should be doing. Those are your three things. Make sure you have your duffel bag of cash, because banks are insolvent. There is no reserve. FDIC cannot cover millions of people up to $250,000. So you better have money that you can access, because if ATM machines get turned off, if you can't get your crypto off the exchanges and change it back into money, where does that leave you? Just think about all this. That's why we have our tenants. We got our duffel bags of cash, right? We have invested in dividend stocks, right? So we have money coming in every month or every 3 months that we don't have to work for, right? You're buying some sort of real estate, whether it's for short-term rentals, whether it's for long-term rentals. But either way, you're getting some real estate that you actually make money from, not live in, but make money from, right? You're buying into a business that makes money, right? 4 tenets are simple, because again, a little bit of gold and silver, because that in itself, you don't make money while holding it. So all of that said, let me know what you guys think down below. And make sure you stay safe out here and keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.